That sparked mass protests at the Capitol in 2011 is being challenged again in court. Act 10 created a nearly total ban against collective bargaining for Wisconsin's teachers and other public employees.
Within our state Capitol Bureau Chief Vanessa Kelson breaks down the latest fight against the act.
The suit filed by teachers and union workers alleges Act 10 violates Wisconsin's constitutional right to equal protections.
That's the crux of the argument.
Labor relations expert Michael Childers remembers the protests surrounding Act 10 well.
There were many days of protests, upwards of 100,000 people marching around the Capitol building.
Now the UW professor says he was initially surprised the act was being challenged yet again.
There have been several previous lawsuits I'm aware of that were adjudicated pretty rapidly after its passage back in 2011. I think there is a different legal argument this time.
The union's attorneys say the exemptions police, firefighters, and other public safety workers receive from Act 10's restrictions on bargaining are a violation of equal protections.
It's pretty obvious that, the Act 10's drafters were trying to favor certain groups that endorsed Governor Walker in the 2010 election.
The defense argues the exemptions are legal and have been upheld by other courts.
To get into the granular distinctions between vehicle inspectors and DNR wardens would essentially make the courts a super legislature of the kind that is just not allowed.
Dane County Circuit Judge Jacob Frost asking the defense,
I do have to look about why is there multiple classes? Why are there one or two or however many? And is there really a difference between them, and is it rational why they're treated differently?
This challenge to Act 10 is the first lawsuit since Wisconsin's Supreme Court flipped to a liberal majority. But this case is only being heard at the county level, meaning the lawsuit would have to work its way up to the state's highest court. From Madison, Vanessa Kelson.